All right, it says we're live. I still have a few minutes to spare here, so I'm just coming on to make sure that everything's going well. So I will start in a few minutes. Good morning, Jim. Good morning. Good morning. Copy the clipboard. What's up, Lynn? We're going to start here in a few minutes, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, St. John. What's up, everyone? Looking forward to another week of family education and support with all of you. The first thing I'm going to do today, after I do my introductions and stuff, is I'm going to go ahead and respond to a question that was asked last week. And then, as we were talking last week, we're able to send a link now in the comment section. And in that link, good morning, Hamid John, we're able to actually click on it and come in and join on the conversation. So I have my first volunteer that's going to be coming on here shortly for you guys. For some of you, it's going to be a good surprise. But it's going to be very valuable for the recovery process. So all that being said, good morning, Faye the guest. I'm excited to see my first guest of the show ever. So we'll go with it as it is. So let me just start off really quick and give a quick introduction of myself for anyone that might be watching this later on at a later date, a later time. My name is Parham. I have a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. I am a licensed advanced alcohol and drug counselor. I'm in personal recovery myself. I joined the journey in June 13th of 2008. So if everything goes well, and I plan for it to do so, on June 13th of this year, it'll be 13 years clean and sober in the program. Kind of committed my life to what you're seeing right now. I also coach a high school sports. So before I get into our first guest or first individual, it's not even a guest, it's anybody that wants to ask questions about recovery, ask questions about family support, boundaries, trust, that just needs to maybe just come talk to me. There's going to be a link in the comment section, and I'll just kind of post it so you can see what it looks like. And all someone has to do is click on that link and they can come in. But before I bring someone in, there was just a question here that I'm going to put up on the screen that someone asked last week, and there it is. So it says, relapse of a loved one can be difficult for the whole family. Can you provide some guidance as to how to get back on the recovery track for family members after experiencing loved one's setback? Okay, so this is a very good question. There's actually a few family members that I know firsthand watching this have experienced that same thing. One of the people that said hi today asked me this exact same question last time, a while ago when her son had relapsed. So this happens to be a different person asking this. And I happen to know a lot of background about this situation in this family because we've been working with them for a while. So I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but I will tell you this. A relapse is a very, very emotional process. Okay, why is it emotional? Because the whole recovery process brings about certain hopes, dreams, goals, aspirations. It brings about just a new way of life. And when people start to see that progress being made, their hopes, their expectations start to rise to that same level. They start to feel like the days of the past are gone, and they start to see a new hope, new light. And if and when there is a relapse, and it's not always, but if there is, and by the way, there is more relapses in recovery than there is people staying clean and sober continuously. So it's something that you do have to get familiar with. You have to understand, you have to learn. But if there's a relapse in the recovery process, what happens is it's kind of like pulling the rug underneath all that. It's kind of, for the family member, for the mom, for the dad, it's saying, oh my God, we had all of our hopes in that eggs in that basket, and they just lost it one more time. And then the family gets completely lost. They get hopeless. They get full of fear again. It's like the same person they were before the process all of a sudden resurfaces again. So if that happens, what that tells me is this, is maybe the family member hasn't transformed that much on their own, Maybe their entire recovery process was just watching and mirroring the recovery of their loved one. And as they did well, the family does well. If they do bad, the family does bad. When that happens, when the family gets really devastated, for me, it's like, okay, what happened to your own journey of recovery? What happened to your own work in the recovery process? And yeah, brings back all the nightmares. Yeah, that's a really good analogy. What happened to it all? Because if a person's also been working on themselves well, they understand addiction at a much higher level. They understand the relapse possibility at a higher level. But there's one thing specifically to this mom who asked this question, because this family is someone that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts. What I would suggest for you is to do this. So the relapse happens and you're really emotional and you're really feeling it, and thank God your son's doing really good right now and he's back and his mindset's right. And I'm really proud of him. I just want you to know that when you do watch this. But I'll tell you this, is always utilize the gift of perspective. The gift of perspective. What does that mean? Always look back, zoom out, zone out, zone out, zone out, and get to a point long before this whole recovery stuff when you were in active addiction with your loved one and you were going through everything. And all of a sudden you'll get a different perspective and a perception. You'll realize that despite of a relapse in their recovery process, they have come and you have come such a long way since the initial stages, right? When a relapse happens, it brings back everything and we think we're right back where we started, when in reality, we're not right back where we started. If the person continues on the recovery path. If they don't, then you really got to do your work to figure out, okay, how am I going to do my best to keep them back in the right path? This is all boundary talk. But you got to realize, like for this specific case, I could do this without having to talk about, the specific case. The person this person's son was when they first came to us a while ago versus the man that is there now is a completely different human being, irregardless if there was continuous sobriety or not. Even without the continuous sobriety, the person that came in as a broken child, a broken boy, just a lot of anxiety, a lot of doubt, self-doubt, a lot of really critical on self, versus the person right now who can have long conversations, who can open up, who can be honest, who has friends, who has peers, who is liked by others. These two human beings are completely on different ends of the spectrum. So when you ask here, how does what's some guidance for recovery to get back on the recovery track for family members, is to realize the progress that's been made, not just for your loved one, but for yourself. Celebrate the progress and then double down on the parts that you still need to work on. Because irregardless of the loved one's recovery or sobriety, you are still in recovery yourself. You still have lost a lot of things that were taken from the recovery process, from the addiction process, and you got to continuously work on yourself. Never, ever, ever guarantee or bank long-term sobriety for anybody, including myself. And I'll tell that to my mom, to my dad, to my brother. Everybody is doing this for themselves, because to say that something will never happen for the rest of life is a very, very immature thought to have. But when it's not happening, what is the progress being made? Is the person moving from where they were to where they are, and are they headed in a good direction? Is it tangible? Can you feel it? Can you see it? So hopefully that answered your question. And by the way, the reason I popped this one up is because last week the question was asked. So if you ask any question on the side chat, I can pop it up. So I have the ability to do that. And I'm going to post the link again one more time. If I believe my mom's going to be popping up here to do a little test trial of this. So when you do click on this, Mom, I will hopefully get you into the studio. And once I do that, we can start this discussion. So again, if anybody has any questions on the side, thank you for bearing with me today. It's an atypical version of this. Normally, I'm a little bit more, prepared, organized, this and that, but I really wanted to try this feature today. So for those of you who have been watching me for a long time, I know that that my normal MO is to have a bunch of information prepared for you guys, but I kind of want to see if I can get this going first. So give me a second. Just waiting for my mom to pop up here. What else does it let you do? It lets me. That doesn't work. Let me see. Sorry, guys. She's not really popping up here yet. Let me see if I can get a hold of her. Let's see. I know, Farzan. My brother's here now too. Farzan, all she's got to do is click on that link right above your comment, and she would be able to log on to this thing live. I'm going to give it a few more minutes to see if it happens, see if she pops up. If not, I'm just going to get into my talk. If anybody else, by the way, has any questions they want me to answer today, feel free to write them on the side chat and I will do my best to answer them for you. I'm going to try one more thing here with mom. Let's see. It says I can email something to her. I'm trying to send her the link now. Okay. Tell us a fun fact in the meantime. Sarah, let's see. Sarah wants me to tell you guys a fun fact. I don't know what the fun fact is that you want me to say. I was really prepared for mom right here. She's letting me down. It's going to be so funny to process this with my mom, by the way. I don't know the fun fact. The fun fact about me is I've been doing Pilates for the past 4 months at the rate of 6 times a week. And it's really transforming my life. And I would tell you this, I never would have thought that I was a Pilates person. So there you go. There's a fun fact for you guys, Sarah. No, I did try. Let me tell this to my mom real quick too. So here's a fun fact. Mom, I also sent you an email to your yeah. I know, Denise, you love that Pilates stuff. Mom, I also did email you the link to your Yahoo. So maybe just click on that and come on. But if not, I really do have to move on here. So I'm still holding in some hope. Camera, no, nothing. Checking everywhere. She said good morning a little bit ago, so I know she's here. Now where she is now, who you are versus who you become, the difference in family dynamics. Okay, Julian. Julian is one of he's actually a friend, I'll tell you that. He's also a coworker. And he's also someone who has been working with us for a while. So he's got something, it's who you were versus who you've become, the difference in family dynamics. So I'm not even going to talk about this for myself. Julian, I'm going to share about you for a second right now. Julian had an old identity that, and I know I'm allowed to talk about him because there's a lot of trust between us. Julian had an old identity that was a lot of low self-esteem, multiple treatment episodes, really struggled in life to be able to grow his roots, to be able to connect to other people, a lot of toxic relationships, very smart, very intelligent, but never did anything with it at school because he didn't believe that he was able to handle it. And he just had an identity of almost like a gangbanger. I mean, when you saw Julian when he first came in years ago now, and Julian, tell me how many years exactly it's been, but I'm assuming like 5, 4 at least. When he came in, he just looked like a kid that was lost. So who he has become now is a hardworking, honest, committed, loyal human being, friend, coworker, father, and another father soon to be here in the end of the year, his son. He's really excited about that. And the differences in family dynamics is Julian. So yeah, 5 years clean and sober, man. That's Julian's awesome. And he's actually in school right now to be a drug and alcohol counselor for hopefully Buckeye Recovery Network. If he goes somewhere else too, we'll see what happens there. But But well, there's mom too. She said, I can't connect. I don't know why. There's the link again, mom. Give it a try. But if not, it's okay. Honestly, it's okay. I don't mind. And the difference that has in Julian's family dynamic is this. Julian is able to show up for his family, to show up for his siblings at a time in their life that they actually needed help. Julian was the responsible one, right? He's healing the family through the recovery process of himself. So not only does he not talk, walk, look, act the way he did when he got here, he's turned into a whole different human being with a new identity. That new identity is healing the family around him. Like he's raising kids the right way. How about that? He's a role model to people. So if that gives you a lot of hope, and if you're wondering like how does recovery change family dynamics, recovery transforms family dynamics. Thank you for sharing that and participating there, Julian. That was cool. There's another one here. A shout out from a mom. Shout out to moms, eventual support. I'm new to all this with my son. Welcome. Teresa, I want you to know that you're welcome here. Congratulations on 49 days sober for your son. I want you to know that you are 49 days also, maybe not using the word sober, but 49 days into the recovery process yourself. Addiction, you'll hear me say this all the time, is a traumatic process, not just for your son or for people going through the process. Addiction is traumatic for you, Teresa. There's been nights that you slept, since you're new, I'll tell you how it's like. There's been nights that you slept with a phone on your chest. There was nights that you were unable to sleep because you didn't know where the heck your loved one was. You've been robbed and theft emotionally, maybe financially, from the person that you love the most in life. You've felt guilt, you felt shame, you felt powerless, you felt angry, you felt resentful, you felt hopeless, you felt lost. And now that your loved one, thank God, is in the recovery process, so are you. Now, the definition of recovery that we have in these rooms is to regain something that's been lost, stolen, or destroyed. You got to find you again in this process. My hope is that 49 days turns into 4 months, that 4 months turns into 4 years, 4 years, turns into more than that. But regardless of that, your progress is just as important. So keep coming back to these. These groups are very helpful. There's about all the family members that are watching this, they are very good at recovery. This is like a really strong support group. So the fact that you just said you're new to this, that they are, the fact that you said you're new to this, there's going to be a support around for you. Okay. And thank you for joining. Thank you for participating. This is guaranteed every week, just like, what do they say? 2 things are guaranteed is death and taxes. Well, it's 3 things: death, taxes, and Parham's family support group. And yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the feedback, and I'll just put it up there, so I'm learning a lot. I felt relief when he was in rehab. I finally knew he was not drinking. And again, just keep finding relief for yourself. He's in good hands. He's being treated with professionals. And you got to do your own work. So there's a question here by Hossein, who is a very avid follower of this program. He says, can you please describe the signs of recovery in a person? So keep the question up there. So recovery is what? Regain something that's been lost, stolen, or destroyed. So let's just look at all of those different areas and see if we can identify certain characteristics that exist to be able to say, hey, this person is making recovery. So one of the most important things that gets destroyed in the addiction process is mental health, mental wellness, overall sense of self. We get disconnected from ourselves. People that come into recovery, depending on how long they've used, the frequency that they've used, the type of drug that they used, they are at different levels of brain recovery. Okay, so what I mean by that is nobody ever comes into the recovery process feeling, I'm good, life's good, I'm happy. They usually come in feeling severely, significantly depressed. They usually come in feeling very anxious because of all of the fear of the unknown and all of the unfinished business that they've left just kind of for years, right? There's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of sadness, a lot of depression. There's usually a lot of anger towards self because people are pissed off at how they continue doing this to themselves. There's anger towards others. So the psychological and mental well-being of a human being is, safe to say, not doing that well. So that's the first sign that you know someone's recovering, is we call it the fog starts to lift, right? They start to feel a little bit better. I mean, I know people that like the first couple months that they're somewhere, they don't even like smile in the treatment process. They can't even find joy in the treatment process. I tell them, hey, go look at the beach, go stand up, go look at the sun, go look how beautiful it is out here. And they just can't do it. So there's something with addiction called anhedonia, which is losing pleasure in the things that once give a person pleasure. So at some point in their life, they enjoyed it, but now they don't enjoy it anymore. That's called anhedonia. So once they start to seek pleasure and like they start smiling, they start feeling good, their depression goes from a 10 to like an 8 to a 6 to a 5. And yeah, Jim's right there, right? I wasn't really happy for months. And that's an exaggeration. I think it was a little bit longer than that. He's told me that the first 6 months he didn't even smile, you know? So it's, so the first sign of recovery is improvements with mental health, right? Mental health. That's the number one thing that you're looking at. You're not looking at anything like physically, vocationally, educationally. You're not looking at any of that stuff, because until you have the foundation of mental health, which just makes you wake up in the morning saying, okay, I could do something today, the rest of that stuff is not going to happen. The next one is physical health. And I'm a big mind and body advocate. Mind and body are connected to each other. There is no mind without body. There is no body without mind. They say if you move your body, the mind will follow. Flex a muscle, change a thought. And I'm not saying someone in early recovery has to get up and start like going all in on exercise, but when you start seeing them walk 30 minutes a day, 5 to 7 times a week, when you see them starting to let their body experience some oxygen, when they start breathing, when they start moving, when they start engaging and having a little bit more activity, physical activity in that regards, you start to notice that their mind and body connection is starting to get a little bit more clear. It's starting to get a little bit more healthy. And then, of course, the signs of what they're putting into their body. You know, true sign of recovery for me is are they conscious and aware of what they're actually consuming and putting into their body? So that becomes really important at that point. And the next stuff is, okay, so now once you have that better, because a person that doesn't feel good psychologically, emotionally, and physically is also a person that's not going to do good, right? You're not going to just go out and kill it in life. So then the next stuff becomes is what is a part of their recovery plan, okay? Now let's just go with 12 steps because it's more common. Hi, Curtis. Not sure if I know you, but welcome, man. Let's just say having a recovery plan. Oh, wait, what's up, man? Your son's there. That's awesome. So having a recovery plan is vital and important. Now, what that recovery plan looks like has to do with what are the things that you do that help you move forward in your recovery. What does your sober social support network look like? Are there counselors? Are there therapists? Are there sponsors? Are there mentors? Are there meetings? Are you doing something to ingrain the recovery lifestyle for yourself? Are you engaging in personal development? Are you moving forward in life? Doing all that kind of stuff. That also needs to be there for a recovery person, because if a person's not engaging with recovery activities, it's hard to say that they're recovering, correct? So that also needs to be there. The other one that needs to be there is some type of planting seeds, some types of thoughts, some types of engagement at the level of thought of what's next. Not to the point to overwhelm them and scare them. I'm talking about short goals, medium goals. What's next? Where am I headed? What am I becoming? Who am I spending my time with? Where am I headed? Why am I doing what I'm doing? So all of that stuff becomes really, really important at that point. And there's a bunch of other things too. So it's those are, and for the family members, by the way, it's your own emotional health. So let's just talk about how do you describe the signs of a recovery person, a recovery family member, is how is your emotional well-being doing outside of your connection with your loved one? So just put their recovery aside. How are you doing? How are you taking life with stride? Where are you headed with your recovery? How are you incorporating your recovery in your life? Who are you helping? You know, that's a huge part of the recovery process, is paying it forward, is helping other human beings out. So it becomes really important to understand and to see that and to look at that. So hopefully that answered a little bit for you. Let's see what else we got here. Jim said, we're not fixing the problem with alcohol and drugs. We're fixing the brain and how we respond to life. And that really is the truth, because there are a lot of people, my friends, that come into the recovery process, and for many years, drugs and alcohol has been the solution to their problems. Okay. And I know that sounds counterintuitive to what I'm saying, especially if you're a loved one, But when you talk to your kids, your spouses, your siblings about their drug addiction, they will almost always tell you that it helped them take away their anxiety. It helped them sleep at night. It helped them gain some confidence. It helped them walk across the room and shake someone's hand. It helped them not have so much tension in life. So the problems that they had, drugs and alcohol took their problems away. That's why they continue to use drugs and alcohol. That's a big distinction if you can understand that. So in recovery, what we try to do is so Jim says we're fixing the brain and how we respond to life, because we can no longer use substances to respond to life. So we have to use ourselves, our coping skills, our support network, and that becomes a really important sign of someone that's in recovery. So great points over there. Thank you for all those side chats. So I had my mom, by the way. So my mom did say sorry. She just said she can't connect it. So what I have to do later is probably do a little troubleshoot 101. If anybody else, by the way, can click on this link, if you are feeling comfortable, I promise I'm not going to grill you or ask you too many questions. If you can just click on that link, anybody, and see if you can pop up, just so I know it's not, it works, because that would be horrible to keep offering to click on the link and pop up here. So if anybody is a little, and you can, by the way, pop up without your camera too, if that helps. You could just, it's like a Zoom thing. So feel free to pop up there. I would appreciate it. And we can go from there. Anyone else with any comments? You guys see how interactive I could be with this. And by the way, the first mom that we talked to, the question about the relapse, also wrote that them and their family do see changes in him, and they're really grateful for that. So, it's something as simple as that, the gift of perspective. You just go to, so when a relapse happens, like I said, it's emotional, right? You're like, oh my gosh, he was doing so good. He made so much progress. Devices not connected. Hold on one sec. We might actually, let me see. This is going to be the first one. Sorry, guys. Let's see if this pops up. Maybe it's me. Let's see. Band name. Hold on one sec. I got someone trying to log in. How do I do this? Okay, well, now I know it's not me. It's me, I think. No? Lynn, does it give you an option to come on in? I see you're trying to get in. Oh, you need to connect your mic and camera before you can add to the stream. So if you turn on your mic, not even your camera, it's going to let you come in. And you actually have a wealth of knowledge and information. So, we got Eileen. We got someone else coming in. There we go. Eileen, is it okay if I pop you in?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Hi.
You're my first guest I've ever had pop in on my screen. This is great. So tell us about you a little bit since you're here. I want to see if people can see how this works.
Yes, it's echoing a little bit. So I don't know if you're being able to hear me.
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. I am. You're hearing two people at the same time.
Do you have your volume up on your YouTube or something? Well, no, I wouldn't know how that would work. Let's see. I have you up here. I don't know if anyone sees. Is it echoing right now for you? Because I can hear you well when you speak.
Okay, I'm going to speak, and if there's an echo, you'll just let me know.
Okay.
I am a grandmother of a grandchild who I adore, who's in recovery. And we have gone through this process of feeling elated that it seemed like he was moving forward and relaxed. And it's been a journey.
Yeah, I guess some people are saying they can hear you fine. Eileen, I know you really well, by the way. I speak to you every single week from you. You've been following this from the beginning. Is there anything, despite of the relapse of your grandson, which there has been progress in the middle there, and it was kind of back and forth a little bit. How have you benefited from your own recovery journey?
Hugely. The main thing is I can sleep. Before, if I got a call, it would keep me up all night and struggled. I am now able to have a little bit more neutrality. I love him and adore him. I'm aware that this is his path. And for me, I can have some distance and be an observer and still love him and have faith. And when I talk to him, I do keep on telling him I have 100% faith that he's going to get where he wants to go and where he will go. And I see improvement.
That's wonderful. That really is. And I'm gonna, if it's okay, I'm gonna take off your screen right now, but I'm gonna talk about what me and you were talking about. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so Eileen has been watching this, by the way, just so you guys know, since last year. And grandson was in here, super supportive. I've spoken to her on the phone or through email a few times. And what I got the most out of that conversation, and I hope a lot of you guys get it too, is she says, I can finally sleep at night because I know that he's on his own journey. Now, here's the thing. She loves him just as much as she did from the moment that she's probably ever laid eyes on him, from the moment he started the recovery process. And being able to sleep at night doesn't mean you love someone less. Being able to see that person on their own journey, despite if you agree or disagree with some of the actions they're taking, doesn't mean you love them any less. But she's saying, I love me enough to know I have to do this for myself. Every time she talks to him, it's supportive in nature. Hey, I'm here for you, but trust me, this family has boundaries. I know she has boundaries, and she's not going to let him do whatever he wants to do and that kind of stuff like that, which is something that she's learned through this process. But you can just see that person right now that was talking. I know we had some technical stuff. We were trying to figure it out, but you can see that person and you can see some peace in her eyes. You can see that she wasn't just like destroyed by the addiction of her loved one. She had like a nice presence to her. She had calm. She was objective. So if you're a family member watching this right now and you're not any of those things, just know that by continuously engaging in this, just even if you're coming to these on Saturdays, you're going to be able to find that sense of peace, that sense of comfort. And hopefully by just doing what you have to do for your own recovery process, you are able to achieve a little bit of what she has. And my hope, my goal, my dream is that her grandson gets it and stays it and finds a lot. He's bright, man. This is a smart kid. This kid's got the potential word that they talk about. And we're going to continue doing the same thing in supporting not only Eileen, but also her family. So thank you so much for being the brave, courageous first one. If anybody else wants to talk, let's just troubleshoot these out. I mean, hey, worst case scenario, you guys get to come up here and talk to me for a second. Because I don't know, I've been doing this on Saturdays with, I'll send the link up again. I've been doing this on Sundays with Dr. B on his YouTube, and it's working over there. So, but he's the one in charge of the links and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of learning. If this is not what you were anticipating today, I'm sorry. If you go watch any of my previous videos, you see that I'm very prepared the whole dang time. So if anybody else wants to pop up right now, feel free to. And then we can go from there. And right here, Denise wrote, boundaries are so important in recovery. Denise's story is a little bit, I'm not going to get into her story, but her loved one, clean and sober for an extended period of time, did really well in the recovery process. Unfortunately, had a relapse. Took him a little bit to get back to where he's at, but it's actually developed their relationship into one that's much more healthy. They communicate at a much better level. They've gotten to know each other at a much deeper level. Thank God her loved one's, back on track and all that kind of stuff like that. But boundaries isn't just something remember this, boundaries isn't just something to protect yourself and not enable addiction. Boundaries helps the addict, the loved one, grow up. It helps them mature. It helps them understand what they need to do in life. It helps them, what do they say? You cripple the person if you carry them too much. you just can't carry people. You can't carry adults like that. You just can't. So, yeah, boundaries are so important in recovery. I have a whole talks on this boundary stuff. If any of you ever need to watch them, please go back, and all of our database is free for you on our Facebook. This is, by the way, the first time that we're live on YouTube too. So if you're not a Facebook person or you don't prefer Facebook, you can actually go on our YouTube now and watch this, and it should be going live stream at the same time. So let's see. Anybody else want to try to pop up and see what we could do? Let me know. I'll drink something. I got a green juice. I was lazy today, so those of you who've been watching, you know I usually juice. It's apple, cucumber, celery, lemon, spinach, kale, and parsley. I know that combination doesn't sound too appetizing, but trust me, this is really good. Plus, it makes you feel good. So cheers to health. It's a hell of a lot better version of cheers than we used to. So anybody else, if you want to just even write a question, I can interact with it. I'm so sorry. I don't have anything really prepared today. I had this whole interview process I was going to be doing with my mom that I was really hoping to, because she's a hardcore. She's into Al-Anon. She's into recovery. She's been doing this recovery process alongside with me, and actually more than I do, for the past 13 years. She's such a wealth of knowledge, and she's such a great resource. So that was kind of on me. I didn't check it. It's funny, actually, right before this, I was having a conversation with one of our colleagues, and she told me, she's like, I'm pretty sure you tested this, you pre-tested this, you retested this to make sure there was no technical difficulties. And so there you go. Anytime you plan anything in life, just be prepared for something different to happen. Anybody else? Any questions? Anything? I mean, you guys know I can ramble forever, so it's not. Oh! There she is. There she is.
Finally.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry, but the link didn't work. Finally, I made it to work.
Finally, you made it to work. This is the best that could have happened here. So
on YouTube.
Oh, you made it work on YouTube?
Finally, I tried on YouTube and it worked.
So, okay, well that's good to know. So good morning, Faye, and if it's anybody in the East Coast, good afternoon to them. It's really good to see you here. This is my mom, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know. She is. Yeah, there you go. You're getting a bunch of highs.
Actually, I want to say good morning to everybody who's watching this program for a year now. I haven't seen none of them, but I really feel very connected to them because they're committed to this program and we are growing with each other. So I'm very happy and blessed that finally I could connect to you, and thanks to technology. It's a little bit hard for me to work with this technology, but I made it somehow.
Yeah, you're having there's a lot of people. Look at this. You got a hello there. You got a hi, mom. You got someone's waving at you. You got a nice to meet you, mom. You got some staff here. Nice to meet you, mother. Hello. So everyone's saying hi. So thank you for making it. I knew technical difficulties might happen. This lady is responsible for 50% of raising me. We got a mom and dad. Each one of them did a good job. So I'm really happy that she's here. But for any family members watching right now, let's put aside the fact that she's my mom. She is a mother of someone that struggled with alcoholism and drug addiction in his late teens, early 20s. And mom, I just want to ask you a few questions for those people watching. What was it like for you as a mom of a kid that you really love and care for, to see that he was addicted to drugs and alcohol, to just experience addiction, to experience seeing drugs that you've never heard about or seen before in your life at that time? What was it like for you?
Okay, I don't want to go there, but I like to give some of my experiences. It was the hardest thing for me. I thought I failed on raising my kid. I don't know what I did. I put all the blame on myself. And I was so hopeless, helpless. I did everything I could do to make it better, and I made it day by day even worse and worse because I didn't have any knowledge. I didn't have, I just I did whatever I thought is right to do, and I was enabling you very hard. And I thought this is a favor I'm giving to you. I was providing everything for you. And, I tried to be harsh. I tried to be lovely. I tried to be kind. I tried to bribe you. But whatever I did, I had the worst experience. So finally, I just said, no, I can't do it. And I always tell to parents, usually I hear that they say when your kid hit the bottom, your loved one hit the bottom, that's it. But I think I, as a parent, as a mom, I hit the bottom. I said, no, whatever I'm doing is not working. So I just surrendered. I said, okay, I can't do anything. I need professional help. And I didn't know at that time there is any professional help. I wanted to fix everything myself because I was that kind of person that I always fixed everything pretty good. But this one was different. So by the time I decided enough is enough, I think you woke up and said, no, this is not the mom I knew. I cannot manipulate her anymore. So that was the time you uh, you try to receive help, the right help, and you know the rest of the story. So if
Yeah,
you have
the part about that, and there's a new mom right now, mom, that just wrote. She just messaged and said that this is so meaningful to her, and you want to know why it's so meaningful to her is because I don't know this mom yet, at least, but it's because the story that you were sharing is probably her life experience for the past few years, and when the thing that my mom did, to try to fix my addiction was it was enabling 101. It was literally paying me money just so I don't go steal. It was allowing me to use in the house so I don't go drink outside or use outside. It was allowing me to have all the people at my house and throw really bad, reckless parties so I don't go outside and do other things. She paid a lot of money to me to the point that I even started stealing from her. But she said it's okay. At least he's like my mom actually said. Do you remember this? You said I knew you were taking money from me, but at least I was saying, thank God he's taking it from me. And that's a really sad place for a mom to be in because I know how much you love me. And once I got into the recovery stuff, and just so you guys know, the last day, June 12th, 2008, is the last day that I drank and used alcohol. And I ended up in the hospital that night. I ended up in the hospital with a very high blood alcohol level. I took a bunch of pills I took. I was very suicidal. I reached out to a few friends asking about getting weapons so I can kill myself. And I came to the hospital. Woke up in the hospital because I don't remember getting there. And my mom was in the hospital room in the visitor's chair. And you could tell she's been crying all night. Her cheeks were covered with mascara. I mean, it was like puffy. She looked like shit. And I looked at her and I said, what am I doing to this person? Like literally, I looked at my mom and I said, what am I doing to this person? And I didn't care about myself at that point. I was so depressed about myself, about my life, about what I'd become. I dropped out of life. I dropped out of school. I dropped out of college for like 4 years. This wasn't like a small period of time. And then I went into the treatment process. So let's talk about that a little bit, Mom, because there's a lot of moms and dads and people in recovery watching this. You had no experience with treatment, right? Or recovery. So what was it like for you? Because I know for the past 13 years that I've been in recovery, you've also been in recovery. You've also been working your own program. I know you have sponsees. I know you went to school and got some education for drug and alcohol counseling. I know you're a successful life coach. You've done a lot of really cool things for yourself. But what was the initial stages like when a counselor, like the gyms on this call, or the people like me, they tell people, hey, you got to start working on yourself. What was that like for you? Tell me about that recovery process.
Sure, yeah. I have to go back to 13 years ago almost. When I went to recovery with you, that was, I was very confused. because the counselor and all the people working there, they told me you have to change one thing, and one thing is you. You have to change whatever you were doing. You have to do it the other way. This is not the way you are doing it. This is not helping. This is just enabling. And I didn't get it at first. I was really disappointed. I said, what should I change? So, but the thing is, I look at myself and said, okay, whatever I did, it went wrong. Okay, let me listen to these people. Let me trust them. So I made myself to trust the process, and I did that. It wasn't easy for me. The hardest thing, I have to change all my behavior that I had. But I trusted the program, and whatever they said, I said, okay, I'll do it. I was very coachable because I was miserable at that time. I was very coachable. Whatever they suggested me, they told me you have to go to Al-Anon 3 times a week. I didn't even know what is Al-Anon. I didn't even know what is AA, Coda. They told me. I was coming home. I was crying. Open my dictionary. At that time, it wasn't. It was computer, but I'm not computer sassy. Anyhow, I was opening um, a dictionary. I didn't find the word on it. It was very challenging, but I said, I'll do it. And I find Al-Anon, I find Coda. I went to family meeting. I shared. Of course, for a month, I was just crying. I didn't know what to do, but I did whatever they asked me. And after a couple of months, I felt really I'm blind to these things, and I have to work on myself. I
Yeah.
I have to work on my shortcoming. I didn't blame myself after a while. I said, okay, I was responsible whatever happened to my son. I was the responsible one. But I wasn't the person that blamed myself. At that time, whatever I did to you, it was my best knowledge and ability I did it. But after that, when I uh, work on my steps and whatever they suggested me, I find out that I have to be committed to this program and work on myself. I did it, and I did it. And it needs a lot of commitment, a lot of courage, a lot of patience.
Hmm.
And I work on all of those. And still, I'm working on myself. It's 13 years. If I don't work on myself, I'm going to be the same, kind, loving mom that doesn't know what to do. So I learned unconditional love, and I learned tough love. That was key for me. Tough love, to know when I have to be firm, when I have to have my boundaries, and a lot of things. If I want to talk, I can talk for 1 good hour of what I learned, but I know we are short of time. So
No,
maybe I.
you're doing great. I still have a few more questions. And there was something I remember the first year of my recovery that you really didn't trust. I mean, you knew that I wanted to do this, but you didn't really trust me. I do remember that. And it was kind of, you were a little distant or watching from a distance because you didn't want to get your hopes up. You didn't want to get hurt. I always tell families on these talks that it's committed and consistent actions over time that develops trust. Do you know how long it was for you in our recovery journey that you started to say that I'm starting to trust that he's doing something different? Because there's a lot of family members here that are struggling with that.
Of course, yeah. I really didn't trust you because whenever you started to be clean and sober, you failed. But you did it by yourself. This time, I trusted the process, and I was getting so uh, strong that if you relapse, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
Of course, it took time. After a good year,
Yeah.
I really trusted you and trusted the program, and I had the ability, if I see you are going to relapse, I'm going to be fine. And fortunately, you didn't relapse. So I didn't try that part, but I think I could manage that part because I was drawn in the program. That was
Yeah.
the main thing. So
And then there's yeah, that was I do remember it was right before, right after my 1 year mark, that I just remember that it was a little bit different. You weren't really worried about where I was or what I was doing or who I was hanging out with, or you had a more sense of peace. But I think that had more to do with how you were recovering yourself, because I do remember you used to go to Monday meetings, Thursday meetings, Sunday meetings. You know, I mean, you were reading the books, you were in the literature. So a couple of things that I noticed from your recovery that were helpful is you always give away what you have. So there are people that call you. So whether these are people like sponsees, you know, you're helping out, or people in your business with your life coaching stuff that are calling you regularly, you always are helping other people. You're connecting with other people. It's great. It's so how important do you say that is? So the family members watching this, yourself, so whether they do it personally or professionally, how important is helping out other people in the recovery process?
Actually, that is a privilege for me that I am working. I help people. When I help people, I'm helping myself too.
Yeah.
I don't take it for granted, because when I'm working with my sponsors, it reminds me where I was and where I am here. And because the recovery is very important, I like them to experience what I experience. And I always wishes that whatever I learned, even one word, make them to change their
Sure.
perspective. Yeah,
Yeah, you've
I'm
helped a
very
lot of people.
honored.
I'm really proud of what you've done in your recovery. The best part is you going to community college to get your, I mean, you've had a profession and a career for yourself for many years, and you wanted to go change it to be in the recovery world, and taking classes to be a counselor, and finishing your degrees to get your life coaching stuff, and just pivoting your career. It's been inspiring to me to see, because I don't think it's ever too late to do anything like that. And it's been wonderful. You know, I know Dad, he's not on this call, but he's also been involved with the recovery process with you, with me the whole time, side by side. I know this Wednesday, I
He's
mean,
listening right now.
yeah, I can't make this stuff up. So this Wednesday, my mom and dad, 13 years later, they still go back to the same family group that I got clean and sober in. So 13 years later, they're still participating in a place that my family healed and recovered, you know? So the last question I have, I
I
know.
owe to that place, you know.
I
I
know.
worship that place. Yeah.
And the very last question I have for you is, to any mom, dad, husband, wife, grandparent watching this that they're struggling with the addiction of their loved one, what would you tell them?
Actually, they have to be patient. They have to work on themselves. They have to set boundaries. They give love, but not enabling them. They should know that they are supporting their loved one if they go to recovery. If they don't go to recovery, they cannot enabling them and support them. But if they go to recovery, they are going to be with them 100% and support them. But always they have to give their love and support.
Yeah, that's wonderful feedback, advice. And if you notice, the first thing she said about someone else is struggling with addictions, what advice would you give them? To work on yourself. So I know that sounds counterintuitive to what you're thinking, but please, whoever's watching this, I know you're watching this sometimes for a loved one, but you are just as important in the recovery process. This was wonderful, Mom. Thank you for coming, having the courage to talk. You helped inspire a lot of people. There's some comments here. I don't even know some of these people. Sharing this with some people that can use this. People telling you that you're an inspiration. So thank you for doing it. You made the recovery world a little better today, and I will see you later probably. And let me get you off the screen so I can say bye to everyone. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
She was trying to say have a good day. Okay. So now you see what I'm talking about with this stuff. So Eileen, first and foremost, thank you for being the courageous, brave one to come on. So obviously there's some technical glitches, stuff like that going on that we'll figure it out. I'm committed to figuring it out. Anytime. So the link that, just so you want to know how Eileen or how my mom did that, if you're watching this link that I click on here in the bottom allows you to click on it if you're watching it from Facebook or watching it from YouTube, and you are able to share a screen with me. So my mom was kind of here sharing about the good stuff, and Eileen was just kind of, being the brave first person. But you might be a family member that's struggling. You might know someone that's struggling. You might actually want to come ask a licensed clinician some questions about addiction and recovery. This is the opportunity to do it. And some of you who might not feel comfortable with your screen, with your picture on the screen, if it's an anonymity thing, you can always come on without your screen image, just audio, and I'll answer and I'll listen and I'll be there for you and provide support. So now that we have this new feature here, I hope that we all start using it, because this will just enrich the learning process so much. And I'm a lot better just interactively than I am getting ready. So love and appreciate all of you. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I look forward to being back next week, same time, same place. If you have any questions, put them down the same way that one of those loved ones' parents did, and I will always answer it for you. Everyone have a good one. We'll see you soon, okay? Thanks, guys.